Hey, what is up, everybody? This is your boy AJTRIP. Welcome to Game According to Me. We got some college football, some pro football to talk about this week, and there's the start of NBA training camps. But we ain't got to talk about too much about that. Just quickly, just want to touch on one thing from it, and one thing. Well, two things maybe. It came in both comes from the Brooklyn Nets. Yeah, I almost thought said New Jersey, but no, it's Brooklyn Nets camp. For some fakakta reason, David Letterman was at the Nets training camp, and he was asking Kevin Durant all types of questions to the point where Kevin Durant just said, "Y'all just let anybody in here, huh?" You know, he just couldn't believe the questions that he was being asked. And David Letterman asked him, "Why do you call KDs?" And he had to answer, because first name was Kevin, it starts with a K, my last name is Durant, it starts with a D. So that was some ridiculousness. And then there's the ridiculous, from the ridiculous to the sublime, if that's the right phrase I'm using here. Kyrie Irving is not vaccinated, and in New York City they have a thing where indoors you have to be vaccinated, and that is going to be for the basketball players. The basketball players, to play at home, you're going to need to be vaccinated. So unless Kyrie Irving gets vaccinated, you won't be able to play at any home games in Brooklyn. They won't be able to play on the road, quote unquote, when the Nets play the Knicks once or twice, or how many times they will play anyway. So that's a possibility of missing 43 games. 43 games just because you're not vaccinated. And see, folks, that's not all Republicans. There are some Democrats who are stupid too. And we know Kyrie Irving is stupid because he thinks the earth is flat. And all the other things that he does. He's just an idiot. He is an idiot. And he's going to cost the Brooklyn Nets a chance at being champions this year, because he doesn't want to get vaccinated. He's just such a moron. He really is. Well, that's gonna wrap up for the NBA. I mean, really, when it comes down to it, it's not that big thing. Probably sometime next month, in October, before the season starts, we'll give a little predictions, on the show. We'll give a little predictions. We'll either give predictions before we go through the NCAA or college football, or what we may do is do a special episode of just doing the predictions all together. So you might get 2 episodes. Who knows? But yeah, what we're all here. We're here to talk about the NCAA and the NFL. So let's go ahead and let's get to it. As always, we start with college football, and let's check out some of the games that happened this past weekend. Wake Forest defeated Virginia 37-17. Fresno State, now in the top 25, they're doing some good things. Beating UNLV 38-30. Penn State had a bit of a cupcake. They took on Villanova, beat them 38-17. Notre Dame and Wisconsin in Soldier Field in Chicago, Illinois. It was 10-10 when it came down to the fourth quarter. But man, a 31-point quarter after the Wisconsin the field goal, and it was all downhill from Wisconsin. Notre Dame really just destroyed Wisconsin 41-13. They now have probably the game of the week this coming Saturday against Cincinnati. And I think for both teams want to make the college football playoff. And I think this is one of those things where it's an elimination game. Notre Dame loses, they're probably not making the playoffs, and I would almost think that even if they went undefeated, there's still a chance they wouldn't make the playoffs as well, just because of how they've looked in the first few games of the season. You know, this past Saturday was the first time Notre Dame looked like they were actually a deserving top 10 team. Then there's Cincinnati, and we know what they need to do. We had Georgia just destroying Vanderbilt 62-0, unreal. Coastal Carolina beat up on UMass 53-3. Baylor squeaked by Iowa State. Iowa State couldn't convert on a 2-point conversion to tie it up. They won 31-29. Arkansas beat up on Texas A&M 20-10. They are a sight for sore eyes in this in this thing. Another SEC team. I think there are like four or five SEC teams in the top 10. I think there's Alabama, there's Georgia, there's Florida, and then there's Arkansas, I believe, and then I don't know if there's another one, but yeah. So, and don't forget the SEC teams are all up and down the state of they're all up and down the top 25. So, Iowa beat Colorado State 24-14. Rutgers lost to Michigan 20-13. Even Rutgers' first loss. Michigan still undefeated and still running the ball like crazy. They said, we don't have a quarterback. Who needs one? Let's just run the ball like 300 yards per game. Let's do that. Let's win that way. And this year they have a great shot at beating Ohio State probably as well. NC State with the upset over Clemson, 27-21 in final overtime. Clemson is now more than likely he's probably out of the college football playoff. We're good. You know, with one loss, you think they're gonna give some teams might give them the benefit of the doubt, but not. No, I don't think so. I think now Clemson is out. So, Auburn is beats up on Georgia State. Although Georgia State had a lead in that game, but Auburn came back to win 34-24. UCLA beat up Stanford 35-24. Michigan State squeaked by Nebraska in overtime 23-20. Oklahoma State beat on Kansas State 31-20. Florida beat up on Tennessee 38-14. Alabama beat up on Southern Miss 63-14. Oklahoma had a shockingly close game against West Virginia 16-13, which the teams were being the fans of Oklahoma were calling for the backup quarterback. You know, when the quarterback Spencer Rattler is a Heisman Trophy finalist, those Oklahoma fans are like, screw that. We want the freshman. The freshman. Bring him in. I don't know if he's gonna be better than Spencer Rattler was, but he wanted him in there. Ohio State beat up they beat Akron 59-7. BYU beat South Florida 35-27, and BYU is they're also in that shot to make it into the college football playoffs as well. They're gonna have to win all their games. They're gonna have to hope for some losses by other teams because there's still teams ahead of them. All those SEC teams, Arkansas, Florida, Georgia and Alabama, and who knows that we have Oregon from the Pac-12. We have Penn State from the Big Ten. So, and there's still Ohio State can still be there too with the one loss. So that's that one. Speaking of Oregon, they beat on Arizona 41-19. As we look ahead to Week 5, Iowa takes on Maryland. BYU takes on Utah State. Michigan and Wisconsin are going at it. Georgia and Arkansas may be the game of the week. Georgia number 2, Arkansas number 8. That should be very interesting. Wake Forest and Louisville. Cincinnati and Notre Dame. This is going to be the other game of the week. Again, like we said, number 7 Cincinnati, number 9 Notre Dame. Who's going to put themselves in position to make the college football final? That's something that I always watch Notre Dame games because I'm a Notre Dame fan. That's going to be very interesting. Louisiana Monroe is at Coastal Carolina. Ohio State goes on the road to play Rutgers. They kept it close with Michigan. Are they going to keep it close with Ohio State? That's what we might find out where Rutgers is at when it comes to the Big Ten. Oklahoma going to take on Kansas State. They mentioned they lost to Oklahoma State, so now they're facing Oklahoma. Alabama is at home against Mississippi. Ole Miss ranked number 12. We got Lane Kiffin going back to face his old coach in Nick Saban. Oregon and Stanford. NC State is at they're hosting Louisiana Tech. Florida's at Kentucky. A couple years ago, Kentucky finally broke the record and they beat and they beat Florida a couple years ago. So let's see if they can do it again with an upset. Texas A&M takes on Mississippi State. Penn State has to take on Indiana. Baylor and Oklahoma State. That should be a good game. Battle of two teams of the Big 12 looking to stay close to Oklahoma. Clemson takes on Boston College. Michigan State, Western Kentucky. Auburn is at LSU. UCLA hosting Arizona State, and Fresno State is at Hawaii. So it looks like there's going to be some really good matchups. We'll see. The Alabama Mississippi one is interesting. Of course, we talked about Cincinnati and Notre Dame. Arkansas, Georgia is certain too. So we do have some things here, and let's see if there are some teams at the top of that of the top of the rankings right at this moment. See if they can stay there, or are they going to be upset? And then we're gonna have some new blood up in there, especially up in the ACC. ACC. Now to the NFL, we go back to last Thursday. The Panthers and the Texans, even though an injury by Christian McCaffrey did not hurt the Panthers, they went up beating the Texans 24-9. It's David Mills' first start, and he looked like it was his first start. Panthers did what they had to do. Sam Darnold was looking like a totally different quarterback, and good for him. I know he's very happy. What is up with the Chiefs? The Chiefs lost to the Chargers. Chiefs are around 1-2. They're at the bottom of the AFC West. What the hell is going on with the Chiefs, man? What is it? What's going on, man? Justin Herbert, he's looking well, and this is not the same Chiefs. Are they getting ready to start? Their downfall, even with that quarterback, even with Patrick Mahomes. I mean, for instance, our best Stanley Reed, he was hospitalized after the game, taken to the emergency room, but everything seems to be fine and everything seems to be okay. So that's good to hear. But we still want to send our thoughts out to Andy Reid. No, it's scary having to probably go to the not feeling well and having to go to the hospital. So that's good. Jacksonville, they had a kick six. They had a 109-yard missed field goal return, but they couldn't get past the Cardinals. The Cardinals won 31-19. Cardinals are now 3-0. And boy, Justin Fields made his debut, and he got his clock cleaned. 9 sacks from the Cleveland Browns, sacking Justin Fields, and it was just an awful day for Justin Fields and the Chicago Bears. Browns 26, Bears 6. Washington couldn't keep up with the Bills. Bills 43-21. Josh Allen getting ready to get back on the roll. I think they see what the Chiefs are saying, oh man, we got a shot here. This is our time to get the AFC on the road. So see what they do. The Titans took care of the Colts 25-16. The Saints came back from a devastating loss last week to the Panthers. Beat the Patriots 28-13. The Falcons beat the Giants 17-14. Giants now 0-3 on the year. Falcons' first win. The Bengals beat the Steelers 24-10. Ben Roethlisberger is just, he is, boy. He's making throws, but he's still looking old while making those throws. This should be Ben's last season. This really should be Ben's last season, and because it is not looking good for Ben right now. And how about this game? The Lions came back. It had a 17-16 lead on the Ravens. They had a 4th and 19, and somehow let them convert it. And then when they converted the 4th and 19, they made another play, and then they stopped the clock, and then the referees let the clock get down to the play clock get down to 0. And the way it is the way everybody says it, that the back judge, the fuck. So the way it has been said, the back judge has to look at the play clock. When the play clock goes down to 0, he takes a quick glance down to see if the ball has been snapped. So that's probably about somewhere from a half a second to a second that works out. And if when the clock is 0 and then he looks at the ball and the ball is not snapped, then he's supposed to throw a flag. Well, I don't know what happened, because it was totally more than a second. It may have been a second and a half, maybe even 2 seconds. And when the clock hit 0 to where when the ball is snapped, and it should have been a delayed game, it was not. And because of that, Justin Tucker got the opportunity to kick a 66-yard field goal. And he kicked it, it went up, and it bounced on the crossbar and bounced through. And he got it. The longest field goal in the history of the NFL, 66 yards. Justin Tucker, are you effing kidding me? It is unreal that guy does. Justin Tucker, he's one of the greatest kickers in league history, and he may have the strongest leg in the history of the game. And it's just, and we got to understand that it was inside the dome, and they were on field turf. All conditions were perfect. It's probably more. It would probably be more incredible if he was on an outside stadium with conditions and with natural grass. It would probably be and not in Denver, but it would probably be a lot, things for that to happen. But man, it's an incredible feat. And the poor Lions, they are playing hard. Dan Campbell hasn't played hard. They are biting kneecaps and getting hit in the mouth, and then coming back and biting more kneecaps. And you have to give them credit for that. The Jets got shut out by the Broncos, 26-0. Zach Wilson still having his problems, but he's fighting through them. The Raiders in overtime beat the Dolphins 31-28. Raiders are still undefeated on the season. Dolphins, Jacoby Brissett played a very good game without Tua. So the Rams beat the Buccaneers 34-24. The Rams just look like they look unstoppable right now with Matthew Stafford. That offense. Matthew Stafford has an offense that is fitting him perfectly. He's got weapons that are, fitting him, that are incredible. Deshaun Jackson does not look old at all. Still running freely behind defenders, and that defense, of course, they can do what they need to do to teams. And they gave up 24 points, but it was to Tom Brady and the Buccaneers. So you can't fault them for that. They had and now you give up 24 points. Last year, maybe even with Jared Goff, they wouldn't be able to score 34 points. They would have lost that game. But with Matthew Stafford, they were able to win. So great game by the Rams, 34-24, beating the Buccaneers. A shocking victory. The Vikings beat up on the Seattle Seahawks, 30-17. and Kirk Cousins has 17 consecutive games where his quarterback rating has been over 90. People want to say that Kirk Cousins is a good quarterback. He has 17 consecutive games of where his quarterback rating is over 90. He's a damn good quarterback. And people need to start putting some respect on his name. They really do. Packers, talk about another heartbreaking situation. The 49ers drive down the field. Jimmy Garoppolo takes him down the field, score a touchdown, leaves him 42 seconds on the clock, I think. And then, but Aaron Rodgers just goes down in 3 plays, gets the ball in field goal range from Mason Crosby, and they hit a field goal. Packers beat the 49ers 30-28. Just unreal. And the Cowboys last night beat up on the Eagles 41-21. Yeah. That's it for week 3. We look ahead to week 4 this Thursday, the Jaguars and the Bengals. The Bengals have a great opportunity to go 3-1 on the year. That's amazing. You know, after Joe Burrow coming back from his injury and everything like that. So I think the Jaguars are going to make it hard for them because that's what they're playing hard. And they want to get their first victory of the year, but I'm thinking the Bengals are going to get that one. Titans at the Jets. Once again, I think the Titans should really, this is Zach Wilson is going through his problems right now, and that's okay. That's what he's supposed to do. I think the Titans are going to go in there and take him down. They're going to run the ball with Henry, and this might be the time to try to open up that offense in the passing game. Get AJ Brown and get Julio Jones involved. Well, I don't know what's going to happen in this game with my Bears and the Lions. I don't know who's playing quarterback. Is it Dalton? Is it Fields? Will it be Foles? Matt Nagy has said that all 3 are going to be in consideration. I don't know. I don't know what's going on. So the Lions are playing hard and they're playing tough. And Jared Goff is also a good quarterback. Jared Goff gets some. These people have these things with quarterbacks. And it's one of the things that I truly hate. Just because it doesn't look like what Aaron Rodgers does, just because it doesn't look like, what Patrick Mahomes does, or it doesn't look like what, Tom Brady does, doesn't mean that these quarterbacks aren't good. And just because Jared Goff and Kirk Cousins and, just because what they do doesn't look like what the name does, Russell Wilson as well. Just because that happens doesn't mean they're not good, maybe they need the right system and the right people around them, and so who knows? So who knows what's gonna happen in this game with the Lions and the Bears? The Lions can get their first victory, and for everybody that thought that this would be an easy game for the Bears, everybody was saying also as well, before the Andy Dalton injury, that this would be the game that would have, the Justin Fields would come in, and because it would be a relatively easy game against the Lions. This is not an easy game against the Lions. Colts at the Dolphins. Tua Tagovailoa is still gonna be out. Jacoby Brissett plays his former team. See what the Colts are gonna do. The Colts are looking for their first win of the season, I believe. Browns and Vikings. That should be a very interesting game after the Vikings will now come back and they've won the game. And now the Browns have a lot of confidence after beating up on the Bears and getting 9 sacks. That their defensive line should be ferocious, and we'll see what the Vikings can do with them. The football team is at the Falcons, and Taylor Heineke's still doing his thing, and we'll see what the Falcons do. Falcons coming off their first win. The Bills on the Texans, again, should be a very easy game for the Bills. They're at home, and Josh Allen is right now on a roll, so we should see a victory there. Johnson and Saints, I think the same thing here. Saints, at home, they're going to be at home in New Orleans. First game there, crowd should be raucous, and be good to see him back there. And the Giants they don't have any right now, so Giants should be 0-4. The Chiefs and the Eagles. The Chiefs need to come back and need to get back I don't know if Andy Reid's going to be on the sidelines because of his health issues, but if he's in the Eagles, and this should be, you know, Eagles might give them some some pushback in the first half, maybe in the first 3 quarters, but this should be, the get back on track game, let's get you right game for the Chiefs. And Tyreek Hill he hasn't been that much effective, this year. He caught that long pass against the Cleveland Browns, but he hasn't been as effective as he should be. So we'll see what happens there with Tyreek Hill. The Panthers at the Cowboys. This is going to be a good game. The Cowboys right now, they're playing good. They're playing good team. They have the most turnovers in the league, with 8 turnovers that Cowboys defense do. Then the Panthers, Sam Darnold's been playing hard. They're probably going to be without Christian McCaffrey in this game. They got the rookie Trevor Herbert. We'll see what he does, and that's going to be a really good game in the early block. For the late games, 49ers and the Seahawks, again, that NFC West they're just going to beat up on each other. The Cardinals and the Rams are also playing each other. That should be good. That's a good test for the Cardinals going up against that Rams defense, and for the 49ers and Seahawks, both coming off the losses, wanting to not start a losing streak. We'll see what they do. And there's also a test for that Seattle offensive line too, facing up on their 49ers defensive line. Packers hosting the Steelers. 2 Hall of Fame quarterbacks in Roethlisberger and Rodgers, but right now Roethlisberger doesn't look like he's a Hall of Famer, even though he is, and we know what Rodgers is going to do. So that I don't know what's going to happen with that one. The Ravens, the Broncos. Ravens are 2-1. The Broncos are undefeated. Can they stay undefeated? They have a pretty good defense, although they've been without Bradley Chubb for the last couple of weeks. He got hurt 2 weeks ago. We'll see what miracle will the Ravens pull out this week, and we'll see if Justin Tucker will kick another 60-some-yard field goal, because they are in Denver, and that ball flies. Sunday night football game. It's the Buccaneers and the Patriots. Tom's homecoming. Tom's return to the Patriots. If Tom wins, he will have beaten every team in the league. The third quarterback to only do that. Manning and Favre. I think the other two beat every team in the NFL. So yeah, that's gonna be interesting to see. I mean, it's interesting to see if the rookie can keep up with, everybody comparing Mac Jones to Tom Brady. Can he keep up with the people are comparing him to? And on Monday night, the Chargers and the Raiders. This is gonna be really good. The Raiders and the Chargers. Raiders undefeated, going into SoFi Stadium to face the Chargers. There should be a lot of black and silver and black in there at SoFi Stadium, but the Chargers are going to keep up with them, and that should be a very, very fun game to watch. And we're also going to see a lot of Peyton and Eli, and talking about Justin Herbert and what he does and things like that. So I think that's going to be very good too. The Peyton and Eli thing. If you have not watched Peyton and Eli, I highly suggest you do. It's on ESPN2, and it's Monday Night Football, and they talk. They bring on guests 1 a quarter, and they have a great time. Talk a lot of stuff, do a lot of BSing with each other, a lot of busting each other's balls and busting their guests' balls, and having their guests bust their footballs right back. So it's a very fun thing, and it's very insightful, and it's the best thing that they've come up with in a long time over at ESPN. So if I'm gonna go to Extreme Rules was this past Sunday, and it was a great pay-per-view. Another one from World Wrestling Entertainment. If you have not seen it, I would advise you to go ahead and watch it. Some great stuff, great matches, and right now WWE on top of this game, like they've been known to be. And if you are a WWE hater, you are I feel sorry for you because right now WWE is doing great things, and they are, everybody's trying to push WWE out of the scene and say that AEW is what AEW is doing is good. It's not. It's not. It's nowhere close to what WWE is doing. AEW is down at the bottom, and AEW is at the top. Point blank, period, in discussion, right? So, all right, y'all. Thank you guys so much for listening. It is your boy AJTRIP signing off. Be back next week with another podcast where we're talking about NBA. We're talking about the college football and the pro football season once again. And if anything, other thing breaks, if any other news from any other sports, we'll be talking about that as well. So please, if you want to support the opportunity, make sure you go to patreon.com/AJTrip, become a patron. You can support that way. You can also support by going to anchor.fm/under Show, and you can support there. With that, there are 3 tiers: 99¢, $4.99, and $9.99. Anything that you do is worthy, or even if you can't support financially, you can support me in other ways by sharing this podcast, giving it a rating, or doing whatever it is to show that this is that you like this, and you think that your fans or family or whatever else would like this as well. So anything you do, I appreciate it. Thank you guys so much for listening. This is your boy AJTRIP signing off. As always, be good to each other, y'all. Be careful out there. And I am out.